Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, World of Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be taking a look at all of the KV2 variants. The KV2 itself, the Smasher, and the KV Junior. All three of these tanks are quite similar, obviously in looks and in their capabilities, but some may be more powerful than others. We are going to be talking about their strengths, their weaknesses, and which of the bunch I think is the most fun to play. We're going to start off with the Tier 6 KV2. This vehicle features a 152mm with 1770 DPM, and when you think about that, that's quite a bit of damage per minute. Like, sure, you got really bad AP pen, but still, the fact that you have almost 2k DPM in a vehicle with 640 base damage per shot is kind of crazy. The vehicle also has 82 mils of high explosive pen with 960 damage per shot, and even 7 degrees of gun depression, making it a somewhat flexible vehicle. The problem is its dispersion is 0.4, and that is with refined gun. The vehicle has an aiming time of 7.3 seconds, which is actually ridiculous, and it is quite immobile. It does get up to a top speed of 35, but its power to weight is quite poor, so because of that, it takes a while to actually get up to speed. When you combine all these things together, you basically create a formula for fun, but also disappointment. When the KV2 works, it's insane. I mean, when this vehicle is able to pop off and shoot tier 5s, it can literally one-shot them. This is definitely the highest alpha per tier in the game. Even the majority of tier 6s are quite low in health, only going upwards around 900 for mediums. So even in tier 6, you have quite a high probability of getting at least one absolute nuke out a game. So, let's find out if that's a possibility today. Indeed-aler, we are in a Tier 5 match. We have a Panzer IV, T-25, and T1 Heavy up against us. In Tier 6, we have a U-Panzer, a KV-2, a Frosty, and a Basotto. Alright, well, I am going to ping that I'm heading over towards the medium flank. We actually have a lot of mediums. We got a Buggy, Crusader, MT-25, T-34 shielded. So, that's good, because I think the KV2 is much better at dealing with the mediums than it is heavies. To be fair, it does a fine job against heavies, especially if you just load high explosive. You can deal upwards of, 300-400 damage with a splash, but I'd much rather deal 900 and take out whatever is in front of me. So, here we go, accelerating up. We are 27 kilometers per hour. As I said, this is not a very quick tank. Its power to weight uphill is quite poor, but thankfully, it's quite heavy. So once you go downhill, you pick up a lot of that momentum, and as you can see, we're chilling at 35 kilometers per hour. We got a Frosty, we got a U-Panzer spotted, and I'm just hoping that one of these players makes a big ol' overpoke and allows me to get a juicer out. Alright, well, I have finally made it to position. We got a T1 Heavy, we got the U-Panzer, and we'll see what they do. I'm going to wait right here. Let's see if that T1 Heavy tries to cross it. Come on, do it. Come on. Yes, keep going, come on. Oh, we also got the Basotto, but personally, I want the T1 Heavy dead. And there you go. One shot, and what was a fairly healthy vehicle is now gone. Again, that's kind of insane when you think about it. Now, we did get shot, which is going to be a little annoying, but if we back up a bit like so, I think we'll be alright. Let's just wait for our reload very, very briefly, and miss the shot. That sucks, but at the same time, we're doing okay, and we're not dead, so I guess there's that too, right? Let's just back up. Ow. Oh, that vehicle's camping there, bro. What a rat. I thought he was going to be sitting in that bush, but he's not. Okay, well, let's reload. Got a little bit longer left. We got the U-Panzer in front, and kind of hoping he pokes it again. Come on. Well, you know what? Oh, he hits us in the turret and pens, bruh. A little cringe, not gonna lie. Well, there you go, that works. Long live the U-Panzer. Dude got not only penned, but he got ammo racked. Well, pretty good stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna say this has been an entirely successful game so far, but we are alive, and we have been getting out some pretty good slaps. We have the Basotto, and that's obviously a big threat. Let's aim it on the lower plate of the Basotto. There you go. He's dead. Somehow the KV2 managed to bounce me, and the Frosty's dead. So what would have been a pretty bad game has actually been a pretty good one. We've dealt over 2,000 damage, and we're still alive. And the Hellcat is still alive as well. What I'm hoping is that we out-reload the KV2. which I'm quite confident in the fact that we will. So I'm going to just load in a nice AP shell for 660, and our Hellcat clears him. So there you go. This is the KV-2, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what it's capable of doing. We had a 2,600 damage result, and we won. And this is kind of how it works. Like, we did get a little lucky that the enemy KV-2 bounced me, but we also got kind of unlucky that none of our teammates wanted to support us, apart from the Hellcat. But I was smart enough to just back up, let the Hellcat farm off me, and he was able to hold them off long enough. Plus, we got a pretty lucky ammo rack, which definitely brought us back from what could have been a possible death. 2,720 damage dealt. Top on the team, obviously, and yeah, that's kind of how the KV-2 works. It just has the ability to nuke. I mean, we killed basically an 80% health T1 Heavy right in the beginning of the game, and then we killed almost a full health U-Panzer, and we also killed everything. Everything that was in front of us, we one-shot. And you can see how having this level of alpha damage on a tier 6 is a little stupid. I mean, sure, the tank is inaccurate, and sure, its gun isn't great, but it's not that big of a deal. We only missed one shot, and that was because I snapped it, and the shell velocity was just a little poor. If I'd aimed it in a second longer, we probably would have been fine. I was just a little paranoid and started backing up because I knew I needed to get out of there. But still, the KV-2 is kind of a crazy vehicle. I mean, I've only played a couple games in it, but in those games, I'm averaging just shy of 2,000 damage with a 90% win rate. It's not a hard tank to do well in, and because of that, I actually think it's quite a good vehicle. We move on from the KV-2 to the Smasher, which is a vehicle I just recorded a video on talking about the buff, but now we're just going to play in it because we can. The Smasher is a Tier 7 Blitz Nation Heavy. It's a vehicle that hasn't changed all too much since its release like 3-4 years ago. However, it did get a slight heat pen buff, went from 275 to like 284 in the latest update just because of the calibrated shell changes. While that is a buff, I also do think that the slight HE nerf kind of evens out the buff it got, but I still don't understand why Wargaming put the calibrated shell changes into the game. So, we are going to be playing our Smasher towards probably mid. We are playing on Encounter. I've started playing on Encounter again, just because of the fact teams have been so bad lately that I just don't see base caps being all that important lately. So, yeah, we're going to go to mid. Hopefully our team supports me. If you have a team that goes mid early game, then they're not bad. But if they don't, then they're usually really, really bad. You know, a team that goes towards A is just never a good team. So, hopefully we can do well here. Unfortunately, our Panzer 58 is apparently AFK as of now. That's really bad, because you need mediums. Like, if you don't have medium support on this map, your chances of winning are definitely a lot lower, especially because our T-44-100 isn't going wide. So that could be a problem. The Mill 1 over here. I'm going to cross. Bro, really? He still hits that. Okay. That's actually a little bit crazy, but alright. We got the M41D, who is showing his turret. We're not going to fire an HE. We're just going to fire standard shell for 600 into his vehicle. I think that's just as effective. We got the Super Pershing on our flank, and we also got the Emil, and we got just about everything else. So for now, we're just going to back up so that we can't get shot. I'm kind of hoping that Yo keeps crossing. Come on, do it, Yo. Do it. Do it. Come on. Well, we're not able to HE him, but 614 damage into the side of his heavy is pretty good if you ask me. Looks like that M41D is still mad at me. Do I care? No, not really. Bro's dead now. Alright, we got the Super Pershing on our flank, and is the Super Pershing going to poke it? That's the question. I think he might. There's a chance that the Super Pershing might poke it. I'm just going to wait here and see if he does. No, it doesn't look like he is. Come on, back up. Do it, you won't. Oh, he's very close. And chunk 569 into his hatch. Well, already we have done 1,700 damage, which is pretty good. And in 8 more seconds, we'll have another shell ready. We have the T-25AT on our side. 3, 2, 1, and chunk 1,144. Oh yeah, that's really fair, ladies and gents. That made a lot of sense. Alright, well, I'm just going to chill here for now. Let the Emil get shot by my teammate. Now we're going to back up. And because we have so much pen, we can just cut right through his turret for 558. Doesn't that make sense? Well, we've dealt 3,500 damage this game in a Tier 7 Heavy. Out of the 3, by far the Smasher is the most overpowered. It's not even a question. It's just a fact. I mean, what the Smasher gets away with is stupid. I mean, you've seen what it gets away with. It gets away with really, really dumb capabilities. To the point where It's not fair. I mean, I just don't understand what Wargaming was thinking when they brought this tank into the game. So we're just going to aim it on his engine deck, and there you go. 627 clear. I was really hoping the K2 wasn't going to get that shell out, and we could get a 900 damage clear, but I didn't really think it matters that much. We still did a win, and we did, what, a 4,000 damage game in this tank? Yeah, 4,109 damage, and a first class, which is surprising. I feel like that should only be like a second or third class, but still, pretty solid result. If we make it over to the stats, I'm going 93% with 3,100 average damage and a tier 7. So clearly this is not an overpowered vehicle at all. And that brings us to the latest released of the bunch, and that is the KV Junior. This vehicle features, once again, a 152mm, dealing 630 damage per shot, 960 on the HE. So the alpha damage is the same from tier 6 to tier 9. So obviously, while this is still a lot, it's not as effective as it is in the lower tiers. But the gun could make up for that. However, that's not the case for the KV Junior. The gun on this tank has almost the exact same damage per minute as the KV2 down in tier 6. And while it does have much better penetration, its aiming time isn't that much better, neither is the dispersion or even the mobility. And to be honest, the armor isn't that great either. The KV Junior is not a bad tank. It's not a great tank either, though. You'll do okay in the vehicle, but I personally actually think it's quite fun. I think any tank with a high alpha and the ability to just smack something and back into cover is always going to be decently capable. And while this isn't a T30, I still think that in the majority of situations you play this vehicle, you can do alright in it. And we're going to see if that's the case here for our tier 9 battle. Now we did get a little lucky and we're fighting tier 8s, but our luck wasn't too good as we got put on a pretty frickin' bad map. I do not like Castilla. It's one of the worst maps to drive a heavy tank on because of the fact, going to Heavy Hill, you usually get nuked by vehicles that go over towards the medium flank. And it's just a bad combination. Now thankfully, there are no tank destroyers, and that's really the major thing that stops me from going on the Heavy Hill. So if there's no tank destroyers, then I should have the ability to play a bit more aggressive here. But I guess we are going to find out. I'm actually going to do a very interesting maneuver. That is, I'm going to cross full speed over to this little bridge over here. I think we can get away with it. Well, we do have a Type 57, and oh my rat, we hit him full speed on the move. That's a little stupid, I'm not going to lie. And he bounces us. Wow, that was just pure luck. That may have been the cruise skill that allows you to hit a shot on the move, because in no world should that have actually hit. Now we have the K91 over here, so we're just going to back up. We're going to aim it on the K91. Now you can see the aiming time on this vehicle is quite bad, but again, we did just deal 600 damage to that K91, and we're at 1200 damage already. So while the DPM might not be great on this tank, at the end of the day, it still does deal a lot of damage if you're able to connect your shot. So we're going to roll over here. We're going to start aiming in slowly. Come on. Keep poking, keep poking. We got the Type 57. He misses, so we're just going to aim it on the K91. There you go. 704. 3 shots, we are at 2,000 damage already. See, damage per minute in my mind isn't that important of a value. Yes, it is good to have high levels of DPM, but at the same time, it's not mandatory. I think having just a high damage per shot is just as important because it allows you to take a healthy vehicle and bring it down to not be healthy. Now, unfortunately, our easy shell did not end up penning. We have a Bisante on our side, and we still got 10 seconds left on our reload. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and alright, now we have a shell, but we are not able to hit that Bisante just yet. Okay, well, we are going to move this way very, very briefly. Is he going to poke me? That's the question. Well, he is, and he shoots once. Alright, I'm going to ignore the Bisante. We're going to aim it on the Type 57, aiming. We're not able to high explosive pen him, but a 650 chunk is still pretty good, and that brings us up to 2,600 damage. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to send the Bisante. He's got 1,750 health, making him quite healthy. And, actually, this might even be better for me, because I might be able to shoot this K91. Well, nah, I'm not going to worry about the K91. He doesn't have enough health for me to be happy anymore. We're just going to shoot the Bisante. There you go. 653 damage into his tank, and we back up. So at this point, we are up to a lot of damage. We have 3,200 dealt. Not only that, but this Bisante is going to get absolutely just bonked. And again, great example of the alpha damage this vehicle has, being able to just rip into your opponents. Bisante, oh man though, bruh. Great example of the accuracy this vehicle features. It is atrocious. You don't realize how bad the accuracy is on this tank until you miss a shot like that. Unfortunately for us, we gotta wait another 5 seconds before we can get a shell out. Thankfully, we're not in a bad situation here. And we still get a nice shell into the Bisante, and he's dead. So, we didn't do bad, but man, a missed shot from this vehicle brings you from what is a pretty solid situation to quite an awful one. All that's left is the TVP VTU and the Rev. So what I'm hoping is that we can just poke this, get that TVP cleared, and then, well, call it a day. So or not TVP, sorry, the Rev cleared. So let's just, well, let's just push over here. Come on, Rev, poke it. Come on. What are you going to do, Stinker? Well, you're going to lose 650 health. That's what you're going to do. We did 4,500 damage this game, which is actually quite a good result. Now, I don't know... Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know if we're going to get any more damage out, but that was a pretty good game. As you can see, the KV Junior, it does just as well as the other two if you can get it in a situation where the gun works and you can get out your damage. 4,500 damage dealt. We got a second class for the vehicle, and we did earn some credits, 105,000, so not bad at all. And before you say these games are cherry-picked, we can see that they were back to back to back. So, overall, I really like the KV Junior. I think the Smasher's fun, and I think the KV2 is really fun. If I were to rank them in order of strong, I would do Smasher, KV Junior, KV2. While the KV2 is really good, it also is so gun reliant, and if the gun misses its shots with its 7-second aiming time, your capabilities really just immediately dip. So I do think that because this vehicle has pen, and it is a bit more accurate, it's still better. But that's my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.